Hello, I'm Chef Almeida Fonseca. I'm with the Culinary Institute of America at Greystone campus, and today I'm going to present to you just a great recipe. It's very light and have a lot of components, but it's very user-friendly, and it's a crispy fried tempura. So we're going to be using cod today, fresh cod. We're going to be doing also a Napa cabbage slaw that have some red bell peppers and the supremes of oranges. Once we fry the fish, they're going to be served with a delicious ginger and green onion sauce. The interesting part about this recipe, which I love, is the utilization of one ingredient in several different types of cookery components and temperature. So, and that I mean the canola oil. So I'm using canola oil today. Again, it's a very versatile oil, very high smoking point, so I can deep fry at 350 degrees with no problem at all. The oil gonna handle that temperature perfectly, and as well use the oil to make a very creamy dressing that I won't be needing to use any mayonnaise or anything like that. Using canola oil and the sesame seeds and the mustard to end up with something that is very textural, delightful and flavorful, and you're gonna see that is very, very simple to follow. So I'm gonna start it out with my dressing for my slaw. So I have my blend over here. I'm going to start it out with my Japanese mustard. The interesting thing about this mustard, I have a little bit of a heat notion over here, but it's not extremely spicy. You know, you can gauge how much you want to use. In this case, I'm making gently mild, okay? So I'm going to use about a tablespoon over here. I'm going to use plenty of sesame seeds. These sesame seeds, what I did, I just simply put sesame seeds on a sauté pan, no fat necessary. I just toasted. Once you reach a aromatic point and just a gentle gold, make sure you retrieve the pan from the burner because we will burn on you. I have fresh orange juice over here, and I have my rice wine vinegar. So you can see that there is some acid and some sugars over here. And I'm moving on with my oil very, very slowly. What's going to happen, you're going to go through a process of emulsification. You're going to thicken itself, and the oil going to mix with the seed mixture in a very cohesive way. Little black pepper, little salt. Going to allow that to mix nicely, and then I'm going to move on the next phase of my recipe. I simply cleaned my Napa cabbage. I cleaned the brown leaves from the outside, cut in half, and then I just kind of go and I try to go as thin as possible. And then the reason I want it as thin as possible is just because I want this as more as a nice, crispy and crunch element on my fried fish, but not necessarily something that's going to be a filling part of the recipe. It's just kind of, you know, a nice component on that dish, okay? Some julienne of red bell pepper. And then I'm going to do some supremes of orange. And very simply, I'm going to take the ends of the orange, and I'm going to clean the outside of it, okay? I try to get as much of the white parts of this out as possible, because it tends to get a little bit bitter, and I don't want that. I just want the fruit itself. And I'm going to do this on top of my bowl, because there's going to be some orange juice coming down, and you're going to add some more flavor to my slaw. So here we go. One side, take it out. Next. I will not season this. I'm just going to add a little bit of my dressing and this slaw, just so we start to marry some flavors over here. So far, I have my slaw started, and I'm going to go into refrigerator. Right here, we're in good shape. I have a clear bowl over here that I'm going to add my dressing. So here I'm going to move on to my green onion sauce, okay? And what I have over here, I have green onions. I have about 3 bunches over here. And what I did, I very simply blanched in boiling water, lightly salted. You notice that I didn't even squeeze much, because some of the moisture they're going to hold inside this green onion is actually going to work very well for my sauce, okay? I'm going to be using fresh green onions that are going to thinly sliced for my slaw that I add in the end for a little bit of a crunch. This sauce, I'm going to use the green part as well as the white part. Okay? On my slaw, I'm going to use the lighter green part. Okay? The next component for this is my ginger. And the ginger over here, the only thing I'm going to do is just going to clean the drier parts on the outside. Okay? Going to clean up a little bit, and you'll be able to peel your ginger with the back of your spoon, and it works all the time. Next component for this sauce is sesame oil, canola oil, shallots, and fresh garlic. So I'm going to start it out this with my green onions inside my blender. And this is no more, no less than a freshly infused oil. And the trick over here is, rather than just make into infused oil, there will be most oil and green onion as a flavor profile and a component, going to be mostly green onion, and the oil going to be just a binder. So it will be a sauce. That's the difference between a freshly infused oil and a sauce that is oil-based. I'm going to take some of this ginger. And again, you can pretty much kind of pick and choose how much ginger you like. Some folks would like a little bit more ginger, and some folks would like a little bit less. I tend to like ginger, and with this sauce, ginger being a component that is pronounced, it works really, really well. Okay? So this is going to go into the blender. Sesame oil, canola oil, we're going to add slowly from the top until binds the sauce with a cohesive mixture. Now I'm going to add a little bit of fresh lemon juice. And you can see that it's a nice sauce. You see that it's binding completely, and I'm going to show you very shortly over here, how this sauce is going to be so nice and cohesive. Take a little taste. A little bit of pepper, and a little bit of salt. And I'm going to add a little bit more canola oil to finish this off. The sesame oil is doing a perfect job. It comes clean. Have a nice little bite from the green onions, very fruity. It's a really beautiful sauce, very fresh, very simple to make. Would work very, very well in several other dishes. Now we're going to do a batter. Let me get a bowl and a whisk. And I'm going to get some flour, some cornstarch, a touch of sugar, and a touch of salt. Then I'm going to use sparkling water. And when you do tempura batter, you don't want the batter to be too thin, and you don't want the batter to be too thick. It should coat the fish, but it shouldn't be stuck completely in the fish. It should be a few parts of the fish that is clear. That's perfect right there. Okay, so this is our fish. We have our cod over here, and I'm going to cut in goujonette, which is a long cut. It's traditionally cut for, fish and chips and fried tempura fish, those kind of things. And we utilize, once again, our canola oil, again, for many reasons. It's versatility, the fact that the flavor is very neutral, so they are going to be able to taste my batter and taste my fish. And as well as the smoking point is extremely high. It's 468 degrees, which means that I can fry several dishes on and on, and my oil will not not smoke or break or separate in this case. The other thing that I always enjoy cooking with canola oil is the fact that it is low in saturated fat, which makes for much healthier fried foods applications in this case, okay? So I'm going to take my fish over here and I'm going to cut in gougères. I'm going to add to my batter. Make sure I wipe my board over here. And I have my batter, and I'm just going to gently coat the fish with my batter. Move to the sides a little bit so it's not extremely thick. And I'm going to just begin to fry. This is going to work out just beautiful. I have my oil at 350 degrees. And the good thing, again, about this canola oil is the fact that its high smoking point is 468 degrees smoking point, which means that it's very safe for me to fry in several batches of this dish without having my oil break or reach a smoking point, which is eventually will separate the oil in the pan. The other thing is the fact that even though that this is a deep frying dish, and the canola oil being low in saturated fat, it makes for a much healthier, deep frying application. So I'm gonna get the plate together, and I'm gonna get the slaw together, and we're gonna be able to build this dish. So my slaw, going to go finely sliced green onions. Fresh herbs. Okay. So here I have my slaw. I'm going to season and add a little bit more of my dressing. While my fish is getting some beautiful color and it's cooking over there, I have my green onion sauce over here, and I have basically all the components of this dish ready to go. Here I have a bowl, and I have some paper towels over here that I'm going to utilize to drain the fish once coming out of the fryer. And fish is getting into a nice color, some just golden brown, and once it comes out, I'm going to season with fresh sea salt and allow it to rest a little bit. So I have my slaw built. I have my sauce built. Here's my plate. I'm going to have my green onion sauce. Fish is ready to go. Little sea salt. And I'm going to do my presentation plate. And here we go. Have a beautiful tempura fried cod with a slaw of Napa cabbage and a sesame oil and canola oil dressing, a gorgeous green onion ginger sauce, and once again the versatility of canola oil showing throughout the whole recipe, from dressing to sauce to the frying application. Enjoy!